Hey everybody, Wages World coming at you. Hey guys, we've had an increase in radiation from a couple different blasts from the sun. We've got some interesting stuff going on too. Sunspot numbers are officially in, and they are higher than what we would be expecting to see. And yeah, and we also had a surprise coronal mass ejection hit. So if you guys could, sorry for being a couple minutes late, having some technical issues here in the background. Not sure quite what's going on with it yet, but somebody give me a 5 for 5 and we will roll. Just want to get you guys this information tonight and be able to do so the best way I know how, and that's just to keep moving, I guess. Yeah, maybe some of you guys can help me out here. When I go to my page, I can see my thumbnail, but when I share it, it shows a generic picture. I don't know why. It's showing my banner. I've been in there messing with it, but anyway, it's not a big deal for that, But if anybody knows why that happens, it might just be a glitch in the system too. That's happened before. So, but anyway, if we are 5 for 5, we're going to just roll into it. Okay, guys, here we go. So, yeah, let me just show you guys the radiation increase right here. And what you're not seeing here is where it typically is at, okay? Because it's been running really close to storm level for a couple days now. You guys remember me reporting on it a couple days ago when it was down here. It was actually the base of it's down here most of the time. So with us being up like that, we're seeing it an elevated proton flux, and that's just kind of what we're seeing. It's flirting with storm level at all times. Now, let me just say this. I say this often also. Radiation storm S1 is not a big deal at all. Okay? It is radiation, and, we pay attention to it, and they decided to make a scale here, and S1 is just not we don't even know it's happening. Okay? Unless you are listening to me. Or somebody else reporting on this isn't something that would be, blasted out there on regular news or something like that. So, let me show you guys this. Okay, I've shown you guys this before. This is the scales, and they're minor S1 radiation storm. Biological effects, none. Satellite operations, none. Other systems, minor impacts. High frequency radio could be impacted close to the poles. So there you have it. Not a whole lot more to say. I mean, it's just really it's really nothing to us unless you live up there closer to the poles, using high frequency radio to communicate or whatever you're using it for. So, with that being said, let me just keep moving here. We did receive a hit from the sun today, also. So I'll take you back to that. Geomagnetic activity right here. It was about right here in this area. Now we're going to go back and kind of look and see where that came from. I do believe it came from that one bigger blast that we were talking about a few days ago, the 9-hour blast. It's here. And I remember, if you guys remember, I was telling you guys, hey, we might get a little hit from that, from like the wake of it. Because the Earth's going through space and through solar wind, much like a boat goes through water. So it hits us, and it kind of just goes to our side, up and over and around in all directions, 3D style, not 2D, right? But that's what happens, and so with that effect, the CME's already passed us, but the wake of it, the magnetic fields in that wake, we couple to them sometimes. So when we couple, our magnetic system couples to the wake of it, and this happened a few weeks back also. When that happens, it just draws it all the way in, and we can actually get into some pretty decent magnetic storming with that. Even after the CME, the brunt of the CME didn't even hit us. It's more of again, like if you're in a boat, you got the no wake zones up close to the beaches and stuff. That's just kind of what I'm talking about here. But again, with that being said, you guys can see this right now, what's happening. The sun's off to the left. That's the bow shock first point of contact of solar wind or space weather to our magnetic field. It's always moving. You see what's happening there. Looks like it went away right there, right? Well, that's not what happened. We had rapid expansion right there after we got compressed. So what happened, the standoff position, which is where that would be the location of the bow shock, how far it is away, is off of this model. It's out too far, so the model can't show it. So you can kind of see that happening. Also, if the velocity, because that's what we're looking at here, is the same on one side of the bow shock as the other, it will also appear to not be here. Because that's what it's showing you. It's showing you the velocity. If the conditions are the same on both sides of the bow shock, you're not going to see it. And the same thing applies here to density. Okay? So the lighter colors or the lighter density, or the not so dense material that's hitting, or particles. I don't know why. I always said materials, and I'm really not sure why I do that. But, you know, that just is what it is. Now, as we're moving here, guys, you know, the darker blues are the darker blues. Okay? Those are dense particles. Now, we can't really tell with this model exactly how dense. Because if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, it stops at 4. So it only goes to that level on this indice right here. Now, we can see what the density is when we go look at the data, and that's why I show you guys the data. I know the data is extremely boring. I get it. But it helps us understand what we're dealing with and why things are happening. So you can definitely see when things happen when you look at this data. And we're just looking at 4 or 5 data points here, guys. We're not digging deep. This is just something right on the surface that is easy to look at and say, hey, we've got a hit. And that's exactly what happened here. You know, you see back here where everything was just kind of nominal, just kind of hanging out, ambient type of conditions, just very lull, right? And then all of a sudden, wham, look what happens right here. And it just so happened, guys, don't freak out over this right here. We are getting the missing data right here, the data dropout spikes, okay? So, with that being said, this is corresponding with this, okay? So the satellite's just in a position, either it can't collect the data, or it's in a position it can't relay the data back in real time. So that's kind of what we're talking about there. It's not a big deal. It's just a few hours right there, and we know when this is going to happen because we know where the satellites are at. So it's very, very forecastable. It's it's just, that's just what it is, okay? But the data itself here, guys, the BZ went, look at that, 22 positive. Now, I want to point something out here, okay? Remember, we look for -6 on this BZ. So when we get -6, like right here, I went to -10, -11, just for a brief amount of time right there. It was moving around a little bit. And so what we're measuring here, we're trying to see the magnetic declination of our magnetic field, which direction it's pointing, those kinds of things, and so we can see if we're gonna couple to the CME, right? You heard me use that word a minute ago, couple, and all that means is, guys, and most of you guys know this already, you just kind of become one, right? That's what you want to do. You want to become a couple, right? So there you have it. It couples together and becomes basically a complete magnetic circuit. So when you see this go negative, what's happening is the magnetic fields and stuff in there are the right polarities, and we're just drawing it in. But when we're in the positive here, we're doing the exact opposite. Okay? We don't want it around. Okay? So maybe we couple and then we catch the solar wind cheating on us. So we want it to leave. We're divorcing that solar wind, right? Well, there it goes. It's gone. It's up in the positive. I know it's a weird analogy, but most people probably understand what I'm saying there, right? We don't want it, right? So that's kind of what our magnetic field's telling the space weather. We don't want you right now. Until, hey, there's a overnight booty call right there. This little short one. Just saying. I ain't trying to get all crazy here, but that's just kind of how I see it, right? It helps me understand in my mind, so hopefully I can do that for you guys. You guys can kind of understand it also. But the density, same thing. Everything moved, right? So, and I've said this a bunch. When everything's moving, it means we're taking a hit. And this is a good example of taking a hit and not going to storm level because of this BZ. That's why. Everything else elevated. Everything else would tell you that we should be in a geomagnetic storm, except for this. So we have to kind of understand that, and that's why. So to kind of go back on that just a little bit, we did get close right there, though. So if you look at the time frame here, we're looking at these are 3-hour data plots, 3, 6, 9, 12, right around the data plot here between 15 and 1800 hours UTC. We can go over here and look, and I haven't looked yet, so this is going to be interesting. Okay, now see, look. You see this? Look at the time frame on that. When we went to negative right there for a brief amount of time, that's at 1500. You see it right there in that box? So I hope you guys understand now. I didn't know it was going to line up like that. But it does. And this is why we look at this, right? So that right there is telling you, hey, we would have been in storm level way back here if the BZ was correct. But back here, we were deflecting it. So it exactly measures up to time here, guys. Look at that. So yeah, there's no doubt in my mind, and there wasn't already anyway. I mean, in my mind, I was already told you what was going on there. So that's why we've seen this close to geomagnetic storm for that brief amount of time. When we went to negative, enough of it got into our system, and we almost went to storm level. Now we can look at the HP during the same time frame, and the HP it's basically the same indice. But check this out, guys. I want you guys to see this. Now, this is what day? This is back. Yeah, this is today. You guys see how far up that went? That is a G2 level storm for 30 minutes. Now, I am a bit confused when I'm looking at this because, and this is the first time I'm looking at this, so I'm sorry if I hesitate right there a little bit. A 5 on the indice should be a G1. So we were at a 5, 1, 2, 3. These are 30-minute plots here, guys. So we were at a 6.3. So what I'm saying, guys, is if you take an average from here to here, that should average out to be 5. And that's kind of what this is saying. See, it says 4 plus. So, and now officially over here, they're telling us that we didn't get into geomagnetic storms because they're using that average. But if you look over here, we were at a G2 for 30 minutes. So, and it's okay. I mean, it's not like this is saying G5 and then G1, right? I mean, this is, we're kind of splitting hairs at some level here. But I do want you guys to understand that is the difference between the two graphs there. Okay. Now, so let me do this. Trying to find, where's that go? Okay, so we're gonna go back here and we're gonna look. Today is the 4th, right? So we know that it takes typically 2 to 5 days for a CME to get here. So I usually start at 3 days back. And today is the 4th, right? So if I go back 3 days, that would be on the 1st. Well, I know right at the turn of the day what happened on the 2nd. Not much happened on the 1st except for back here. So this is that bigger eruption, I believe. Okay, remember me reporting on this one? This is the one I told you guys that was being partially occulted by the sun. And a lot of it went underneath and actually crossed our connection line over here. So this was not coming directly at us. I still think that this thing missed us a good distance to our east, and that would be, we call it east because it's backwards when you're looking at the sun. Okay, you got to pretend you're standing on the surface. So what I'm saying here is that it was over here, right? It going pretty far east, and it was heading pretty far south. So I do think that we're catching a wake here. I do not think it is even a side blow. That points to that this thing here was pretty powerful. Because if the wake of this storm with the magnetic fields in the wake of it, coupling to our system, did what it did here, and I know it doesn't look like it's, a huge deal, because it's not. It's not a huge deal for us now. But I want you guys to think that when we were over here looking at SDO, this is that sunspot region that fired it. If it was to happen today, exactly how like it happened on the 1st, then what are we looking at? Or even one day after, 12 hours even. If it had waited 12 hours to do what it did, we would be having a different conversation. This would be a significant hit. Okay? So what I'm saying is that I'm not saying the Earth dodged a bullet or anything like that. I will say the Earth missed a decent sized geomagnetic storm from this. Because I don't think anybody's going to sit here and question whether or not that's a decent hit. Okay? I mean, there's just no question about it. I ran it down for you guys the other day, showing you exactly, this is the surface of the sun, and it's about an hour from here to there before we start to see it, right? So I kind of used that as a measurement to show you guys how fast this thing was moving. And it was moving fast. But with it hitting now, we can actually, and remember, we're talking about the wake. The CME is way past us. Okay, we're talking about something behind the CME. So I want everybody to have that understanding. The CME is past us when this hit. So the wake of it got us. And pretend you're on a beach somewhere, guys, and you go out and you see the little white and blue little buoys out there telling you don't go out past there because it's not a no-wake zone. When boats go across in front of the beach there, they have to slow down. For what reason? Because it's going to be sending bigger waves where people are swimming. Same thing is happening here. It gets shot out, and hey, hey, pay attention, guys, don't go out past them buoys or you're going to get, same thing's happening. But by the time that it happens when you're on the beach, the boat is already halfway down the beach. Way past you before the waves ever get to you. So the same thing is happening here, okay? And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that and has a clear understanding, because there's so many different ways we can catch geomagnetic storming, and this is one that does not get talked about very often, because it doesn't usually happen like this very often, okay? I wouldn't call this a rare thing, but I would call it uncommon. It's something that we expect to see a decent amount of times every year, but it isn't something that's so rare that, we need to be, we need to go look at this again, and, all that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is this is kind of just an uncommon thing that we don't see too often. We do expect to see these quite often, actually, but not to the level of, raising a red flag somewhere. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that, and I don't want to underplay it, and I don't want to overplay it either. I'm just being real with you. Oh, so are higher than. Okay, sorry, I missed that. Check this out, guys. Oh, I didn't do it. When I went live, okay, when I went over here to go to my channel to pull up the chat here, my thumbnail was showing, but when I went to share it, it switched to my banner here. It was really weird. And then I got on my phone and did that, and see what it's doing? I don't know why it's doing that. So I don't. I have no idea why it's doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at it here in a little while, and we'll take a look at it here in a few minutes. But yeah, so let me just get that back over here. Let's go back here. So give me a roll call in there if you guys could. I would really appreciate it. Let me know where you guys are from. And hey guys, we will be doing a members only. I don't know exactly when yet, but we will be. Yeah. Why is that saying 2? Anyway, okay. So this is SDO. I'm just showing you guys where the sunspots are. We got more rolling in here. Okay, there's not a whole lot that happened today as far as eruptions, and I could confirm that by showing you guys Soho here again. Okay, this is the one that I show you guys the Lasco C2, which is exactly what we just got through looking at, the coronagraph, the more zoomed in version. There's a Lasco C3 that's zoomed out. It's blue. But anyway, you can look at today, and nothing really happened. Last night, I think I already showed you guys this one. That wasn't really that big of a deal. So I mean, there's not a whole lot to report here on that. So today there wasn't much going on. Here's the whole day. We'll just look at the whole day. And as you can see, there's no big eruptions or anything like that. So today was fairly quiet on the sun. We're still getting flares. All right, the flares are still happening. We're into M-class flare multiple times. Now, also, the radiation storm is going to show up here. Okay, and it is very, very close. If it ain't in the storm level now, yeah, because it's not. The radiation shows up. The protons shows up here on the poles. This bullseye signature is from flaring, okay, X-ray. This is protons up here, okay. That's a different kind of radiation. So when we're looking at this, when we see this happen, if this was just a little bit elevated, we would be in an S1 storm. And again, I want to stress though that S1, we really wouldn't notice it, okay. So now, I do want to take you guys over here to spaceweather.com, Dr. Tony Phillips page. Unexpected hit. I already talked about that one because it just was unexpected. We weren't supposed to be getting it. But I was actually off a little bit the other day when I was reporting on the number of sunspots. We are overachieving, right? And in our solar cycle continues to get stronger and more active, right? So this is we came in at a sunspot number. I think it was 217. I can't remember exactly the number. Let's see here. He's probably got it in here somewhere. Solar cycle. Okay, what's it say here? Well, let's just do. I can't find the number anywhere. Let's just do this. Go down here and look. So we're looking at 215. Okay, that's the number of sunspots facing Earth. That's what the number came in at. And it is most definitely way higher than what we would expect. Okay, so it's the first time in 23 years, not 21. So you can add a couple extra years there. So I would just say that. Now, let's go back and what I want to do here. Did I miss the roll call again? Hey, Aliyah, thanks to all my mods here, guys. And I'm sorry I'm a little off today, guys. This whole technical thing in the background had me thrown for a loop here for a minute. So yeah, Utah, I see Utah in there. Hey, Virginia, surgery. Thank you, buddy, for even listening during work. Thank you for sharing it out, guys. Miss V, what's up? Aliyah, my mod sister. I just literally just flipped through there real quick, guys. Hey, Planet Hermit. Good to see you. Isaac's here. Okay, so, but I do want you guys to understand that, hey, that is a double almost what we should be seeing. Okay, as far as their forecasting. Now remember, they give themselves a little leeway here too, this gray area. So when I say they're forecasted, their forecast, I'm talking about right in the middle of it. Okay. But if it falls in that gray, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, yeah, they forecasted that one correct. Well, you can see how many times it's not been correct this sun cycle so far. Okay. Right here, guys. Let's see here. Last time sunspot. Okay, yeah, I was going to mention this. We had, if you guys might not know this, we had a large geomagnetic storm on Halloween in 2003. I've talked about this before. Okay, I'm not going to go into exactly what's going on, but it had the strongest X-ray solar flare ever recorded. Okay, an X45. It was an X45 flare. And a CME so potent it was felt by Voyager. You guys remember Voyager, right? And it was at the edge of our solar system. So, yeah, it was a powerful flare. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and you can go look and see what all happened during all that time frame. And I've shown you guys before. So I don't really want to kind of revisit that tonight. I might do a little bit of that tomorrow. But as you can see here, guys, this is something that is, whoa, what in the world's going on? Yeah, an X45. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, well, what about the Carrington event? Well, the Carrington event wasn't recorded like this was. Remember, back when the Carrington event happened, it was 1859. They didn't have the data collection like we do now. So, and at that point, they weren't even separating solar flares from CMEs. It was all one big solar storm. So that's when we figured it out, right? So just remember that the Carrington event was about double that. So yeah. So just Google solar storm, Halloween solar storm 2003, and you'll get a C. Okay. Now back here in 2003, right about here is where it happened. So we're seeing the conditions are very similar. So yeah, and we're getting into fall, and we do see an uptick in September almost every year. So I'll just say that also. So yeah. All right, so that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I don't have a whole lot more, and again, I'm sorry I kind of was a little slow to the draw here today. It just I had that technical stuff going on, and I didn't want to, come here and not be prepared for you guys. So that's what's happening. So I am going to go ahead and end it, guys. If anybody wants to become a member, all you got to do is come here, click on this. To the draw here today, and right there. Okay, there's a link right there, or you can click the money sign over here, and you can do it that way. There's a lot of ways to do it. Right, you can run through the steps there. People have asked me, how do I accept a gifted membership? You just have to. It should ask you and prompt you. If you can't figure that out, maybe we can figure that out in the background. But yeah. Hey, Miss Dragon, good to see you. AK, Ron, Stephanie, Alan, Greeny, good to see everybody. The Pixel. I will be doing a members only stream most likely tomorrow. I wanted to do it today, but things didn't work out right. I'm actually currently I'm wearing a little bit of my neck. I'm fused 6 vertebrae in my neck, and every so often I go through a spell where it just gets really tired and my neck's been hurting. I don't usually come out here and tell you guys that. It happens quite often, but but yeah, cards. Oh yeah, sorry Isaac, I forgot about that. I'll let you guys know who won the cards yesterday, okay, or tomorrow. I'm sorry. I need to go back to that video and look at it. I still haven't. I've been so busy and my mind's just been all over the place. Believe it or not, guys, when that happens, like this. Let's see here. Let's go back. When that happens to me right there, just that little bit of technical issue, it gets in my head and throws me for a loop. It bothers me. And I don't know why. It shouldn't, but, it is what it is. I'm going to go try to figure out why that's doing that. But hopefully it's just a glitch inside YouTube system. Most of the time, it usually is, and it usually fixes itself. So, but anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for sharing your time and coming here and sharing, and let me share mine with you. And but we will be watching some Zoom Court tomorrow. So come back, guys. Miss V, Ilea, the cards are awesome, ain't they, Ilea? I sent Ilea quite a few decks of those different ones, and I think she could kind of attest, and she is right now. They're really cool cards. I got some, not just Sunspot cards, but I got space related. Um, I believe I can't remember what the whole, like the theme of that genre of cards is. It's bicycle. Well, hold on a second. It's right here. Stargazer. That's the like genre of them, and there's like 10 or 12 decks, different decks of them, and some of them are, I mean, really really cool. So anyway, I tried to. My wife found them, and she's awesome and all that, and they don't make the Sunspot ones anymore, so I'm trying to give those out to you guys. So anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and get off here. God bless. Yahusha saves, and as always, go watch Marflugal here in a little bit. You can drink this Kool-Aid.